I don't think we need any legal documents for params, not that I can think of,
Mm-hmm.
because it's really just like there's no real money involved until the rubber hits the roads on the smart contracts, you know? It's just kind of like a game where people are voting and stuff, but like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, it probably will be well, it should be included once we launch with all
yeah.
the information on the launching document.
Yeah, I think yeah, exactly. I think the param stuff is like anyone can participate and there's no damages that can happen to anyone. There's
Mm-hmm.
no like financial loss that anyone can incur if they
Uh-huh.
create params or if their params aren't chosen. It's more of like soft gov, like
Good,
hey, don't get all bent out of shape if no one likes your params.
good. I was um, considering the NFT, collaboration that we have. I was thinking that this could be a great example of some trademark, like the TEC trademark that someone else is using, which is right now doing it for a present that we're getting, but this could be the seed for discussions on how do we treat content that someone else does or produces with icons or logos or anything related to TEC, because this is going to end up happening more and more as we move forward. And I don't see any problem as long as things are fine. But once you mint something, the other day, I mean, people is really they don't really understand where the barriers are with NFTs. Like for instance, Manu was contacting me yesterday, and he apparently has a lithography of Dali, and he was thinking on scanning it and selling it as an NFT. And I told him, you don't have the right to do that, I am sure. And I'm probably no platform is going to allow you to mint that. People is really confused with all that. So with all the NFT explosion, I think we should at least think about it and maybe not a legal document, but some recommendations on our book or on our on on the book that we are creating or something like that. Because I don't know, last thing we want is seeing all our logos or things being used for whoever. I'm not saying that we should give consent or not, but at least make sure that whoever wants to do that, you know, it's not without telling us. It's not the way to go.
Yeah, one thing was weird with Giveth. We had to be we didn't want to be a legal entity, and we don't really like. I've never. Somehow we ended up falling into a 501(c)(3) thing, but for a long time it was like, okay, what do we do if someone puts up a fake Giveth website and starts stealing money, and or in these situations where people are using your logo without consent, and the only thing you can really do, uh, like you need legal representation to get people to pull down a website and stuff. So, or a legal justification. So, one thing that we ended up doing was, as people, individuals, actually registering the logo and
Hmm.
the rights to the name as a trademark or something like. I think it was the trademark. Um, and I wonder if we need to do something similar
Could
for the TEC.
could we do that with the association?
With the Common Stack Association?
Hmm.
Hmm. I think
Because
that
now
would
that you
actually.
mention
I think
now
that
that
would
you
cross the
mention
boundaries of the Common
yeah,
Stack
we have to figure
Association.
out, because now that you mention that, it comes to my mind, someone just putting another TC hatch page and requesting
Yeah,
money.
it's very common, sadly. Uh,
Yeah. Or
so
jumping into our Discord or our Telegrams and requesting for private keys or shit like that, trying to steal from anyone.
yeah, I mean, if you want, if let's say someone actually made a fake Hatch website, we wouldn't be able to take it down without owning the trademark. Uh,
Hmm.
there'd be It'd be very difficult. It's very slow. They just ask that, hey, do you have the trademark? Show us that you have the trademark, and then we'll take the website down right away. And that's, yeah. So, the strategy for most DAOs is to have a proxy person, a legal entity that actually does it. So, yeah, it would be, it might be something we even get started early and just say, pay someone to own
Take care
the
of that, yeah. To
TEC.
own the rights and use them in case we need to.
Yeah. And I think the legal working group, honestly, this is like a good justification for the legal working group to have some funding to maintain these sorts of things as a legal working group.
I mean, conflicts are going to arise. It may happen clearly that we are running perfectly for 6 months or maybe a year, and all of a sudden we have an important conflict that we have a big issue that we have to jump into. There's no way we can figure out when that can happen and how big maybe, but we got to be prepared. We just got to be prepared if that happens. And the more, I don't know, preparation or the more we think about it ahead of time before it happens, the better.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it takes time to get the copyright sorted anyway. I think it took us 3 months.
Yeah, from 3 to 6 months, depending on the areas of the world. Did you do it worldwide or?
We did it in Switzerland and Europe.
Yeah, because there's different regions. I think there's Europe, there's the US, and maybe Asia. That's the main 3 regions where usually you have to apply for copyrights.
Yeah. I think we did Switzerland too because it was fast.
Okay. Well, we just have to think about that. I'll get in touch with Sean and see. He wrote a nice Medium article last week that Juan Carlos shared on the Steward's channel, if anyone wants to read about it. But that's a long process. we don't want to wait or run. I mean, it's a way to protect yourself. Luckily, even if you're not a legal entity, but I think we should try to find ways to act sooner in the event we need to.
Another thing I can think of that's slightly unrelated, but for example, when Jake rage quit and he posted on Twitter that he didn't want nobody from the TEC using what he had produced, I wonder if we need to have some type of like terms or something in the agreements that people like click when they join that whatever they produce under the TEC, like the TEC has rights to it even after.
I wouldn't say the TEC has right. Because we are not a legal entity. I would say that you are giving away your content for any TEC use or something like that, because
exactly. Not legal rights, but I mean
GPL 3 and Creative Commons licenses.
Right.
Like with those licenses, we can enforce the same thing without.
Right. Because we want to make sure if something like that happens, we are completely comfortable using whatever content that specific person or group decided to provide while they were engaged with the DAO. Yeah, that's the opposite direction. And there's 2 issues or 2 considerations here. One is posting in a third-party place where we don't have, you pay something on Facebook, on your own Facebook or someone else's Facebook related to, or Twitter, you can delete tweets. But I don't know, on a place we don't have the control of that account and we cannot delete, or we cannot get rid of that. And second, we want to use that. Okay, and like for instance, I've asked Alex, the creator, if he's gonna create these small stickers of the face of the bot that I would like to give away to all the contributors. no matter if they are the top 10. Okay, the top 10 are gonna get the NFT, but the rest, and probably even the top 10, I would like to send them probably through XDAI, because otherwise it's going to be a lot of money in. But through XDAI, we can give them, like a little sticker of the bot with a thank you for participating or something like that. And we might want to keep some of those NFTs, for whatever as a DAO, and I don't know. So or keep that image, and maybe someone else that has that NFT decides, I don't know, to change it and sell it somewhere else, and we should be able to first make sure that we can use that and as an entity, even if the artist at some point says, I don't want to deal with you guys anymore. I know I gave you this, but blah, 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 I'm pissed off, whatever. And second, that if anyone wants to use it, they cannot, or at least we can say you're not allowed to do that. And this was stated on our policies or our covenant or wherever we place that. Okay, so before Paris, we were focused on these third-party somehow policies, and we were studying, ending more than starting the proposal document that we had started working on. Do you go ahead? Please.
Just really quick, I have to run in about 5 minutes. Is there anything you guys really need from me?
No, I was wondering if there's any other document that you can think of, you or anyone else here, that we should be focusing on top of the proposal. That is what we're already working on, and the other documents that they are done, except for adding the perms once we choose them.
Probably just the covenant.
Right.
Yeah, I put a couple of hours in the covenant today. I think it's pretty much ready for you guys to.
Great.
Yeah, for everyone to edit, take a look at it.
Is it on the can you send the link on the legal channel? So I will make sure that Sean can see it, and I will try to discuss with him and get ready for next meeting.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Thank you, guys.
All right. See you. Thanks for joining, Griff.
Bye, Griff. Livy, it says I need to request access. So, okay, I'm going to request access.
Oh, I can open here. Sorry. Yeah, Juan, I left a couple of comments. I think I got this last part. Wait, let me share my screen. I got this last part here from the Gravity forum post, but I think there's a few things that could be updated, like hold admin powers to manage systems of communication. Like this is not under Gravity anymore, it's on transparency.
Right.
And then maybe Zaptimus, we could add a section here that talks about transparency and the work being done, and like transparency as how do I say, as a place where if something gets challenged, that people could go to the transparency documentation.
Yeah.
As a reference before we reach conflict, if we ever do.
And the document should be like the YouTube channel and audits. Anything else?
And maybe the credentials stuff.
Okay. The credentials. What would be the use? Oh,
you know how we have like the credential, who has access to each platform and credentials. Yeah. I think that could be important if something is disputed.
Yeah, totally.
All right, we'll check that with Sean. Can you please Zepti add those there, and we'll go over it, and we can try to discuss it all together on next meeting in 15 days.
Yeah, we actually updated it yesterday. I'll paste the link.
Okay.
I think Zep, for the credentials link, we can use the Gitbook for that because we have more details about the credentials management in Gitbook rather than the spreadsheet.
Then well, maybe you can add the link to the Gitbook, and if you want to add any wording or any special, words or whatever, just type them. But any reference to anything that we already have, I prefer it because then we are not being redundant and we are using exactly the same information on all different documents. But if there is anything else that you need to add, just type it, and we'll review it together with Sean.
So I'll just give a walkthrough, and then if there's something on the top of everyone's mind that is missing, we can add here. So first, just like, what is the TEC? What is our mission? I changed a little bit the wording on the mission, vision, and values. But just to be like in third person and a little more like, I don't know, I changed just a few things. And then this part, Sean added that the growth of the TC is related to the community ability to foster healthy culture, that this is an ever-evolving social contract. And then the pledge is basically the code of conduct that I took just a small piece of it. This
do you
also
want to, do you think we should add the link of the code of conduct at the end of this paragraph from the Gitbook?
Yeah, this is pretty much the code of conduct here, but we can, we definitely need to take a look on.
It's just that I want to try to prevent documents being outdated if we update the Gitbook or the place which I understand it's probably going to be the Gitbook, what we're going to be taking care of and maintaining the most.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the core of the information should be here, and then other things that we can update, maybe we can put links. And this is definitely something to, like, when reading through this, what are the links we're missing? Where can we link stuff?
Okay.
So then, the pledge, that is the code of conduct. And then I separated into on-chain and off-chain decision-making and enforcement. So on-chain decision-making is like the tools we have: disputable conviction voting, disputable voting. And then the enforcement is Celeste. And this I just copied and pasted from OneHive because we're using their enforcement. So I just maybe we need to change the ability for the TEC protocol to enforce this covenant.
It's going to be the TEC, right?
But then the other, because there are some things that are from OneHive too, because we're using their protocol. So here, maybe Sean can help take a look at this, what we need to change. And then the off-chain decision-making, just added like our tools and said that it's possible that other tools be integrated and that their use should be aligned with this covenant. And same for community spaces like Discord, forum, and GitHub. Anything else that is added should adhere to the covenant. And then the enforcement, the off-chain enforcement, is Gravity. So if you can take a look at this one, I don't think we need to add like too much information. It's just like what is the minimum viable for people to understand. So I thought this like bullet points were a good one, and then there's just this two that could be like rewritten, I think.
Okay, Livy, but I have a question. Can I edit the posts that I've done in the forum? Because, like, yeah, I think that it would be good to update that forum post, but like I don't see any option to like edit the forum post. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
Here you go to this icon here, you see?
It doesn't
Topic
appear from-
actions. So maybe you need permission.
He may need permission.
Yeah.
I think I remember like one was admin of the forum, so he should not have any problem.
No.
Let me double check.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I was trying to update some old posts, but I was finding this trouble, and I didn't know what to do, if to make a new post or yeah. But if I can edit this one, it would be really good.
Here. Yeah, you're not admin. I just granted you admin now.
Yeah, he was not. Okay, I update it in here too.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
All right. Is there anything else you guys can think of that we should take care of from legal in the coming days, or that it's urgent, or new stuff that may be appearing? No. I was also thinking, now that that we were working on the forum, I realized all the content that is there from TEC members, and it just came back to the Jake, issue or problem we had. Actually, we are getting paid either with Impact Hour, with Impact Hours at least. So I don't know if any of us, if we were a legal corporate, it would be the content, since we were getting paid, and we are actually getting paid through the Impact Hours. That content would be it wouldn't be our own content; it would be the corporate content. Of course, we don't have any relationship as a person, as people with the organization or anything. But that's another point we could mention. I will discuss that with Sean too, because once you get paid for whatever you're doing, the copyright or the company who's paying you through your salary. We don't have salaries, but we are somehow getting paid with Impact Hours, which at the end of the day are going to be converted to tokens. So that could be also considered a way to prove that the content is not yours, because the memes from Jake were not a relevant content. But when we were discussing this, it just came to my mind all the Medium articles that Katie is, writing right now. Imagine that she rage quits and says, "All that content, you cannot use that." You were getting impact hours for that, so that's not yours. That's the organization content. On top of course, you were using all the information related to the organization. So that's another point of view. That
Yeah, but I feel we need to have it write it somewhere.
No, it
And-
has to
and-
be written.
Yeah.
It has to be written so anyone knows that whatever you do while you are engaged with the DAO is not yours. It's the DAO.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter if the DAO doesn't have a legal entity or whatever legal entity we can figure out we can have, okay? But it's not yours, and we are the DAO. Not the DAO has the right to use it and to keep it because it's not yours. You are engaged with the DAO, and the very first moment that you got engaged with the DAO, no matter if you got impact hours, if you didn't get impact hours, if they compare it to TEC or whatever, you are somehow getting paid. So anyway, I'll discuss that. I think that's another point of view for the content that anyone creates as an individual within the organization.
Yeah, another document that I think it would be interesting, not for this commons, but for future commons, like something that how contributors get rewarded, so it doesn't happen again, like with the impact hours.
Yeah, I think the whole experience was a little, I wouldn't say tough, but wasn't great sometimes. But it was great as an experience, and it brought a lot of knowledge to all of us as individuals and as an organization. And it's when delicate situations happens that when you learn the most and you try to make it better next time. So I think that's a great experience that we had, and it's probably gonna help us do it much better in the future, wherever much better means. I'm not skewed into one direction or another. I don't think most of us liked the way we had to go through and all the work that all the energy that we spent there, which somehow was good in some points, but if we analyze it externally, we spend a lot of time and a lot of hours, a lot of discussions, and some of them were great. But I think if we put into the balance the amount of time that we spend and the final outcome, it's probably not the best. But anyway, it's what it is, and we had to go through. That's past, and I think we ended up with a pretty reasonable result for almost anyone. So, but yeah, I agree. There are several things probably the way we created the impact hours, although I still think that it's an awesome tool. But now with the experience that we have, we probably should think on the rules much clearer for anyone, maybe posted somewhere so anyone can check them and anyone is fine. Because that's another of the reasons that they were not written. Most of them were on Griff's head, and some of us that participated on the different rounds knew some of them, other people didn't know them because they never got a chance or they didn't get involved. So again, I think it's probably 80% an exercise of transparency and 20% an exercise of defining the rules slightly, I don't know, just different, just clear. And because going through that process at the end, especially at the end, it's a lot of energy that we could use for something else. Anything else here? Chuy, you're not talking too much today.
Hey, Santi. No, I was just listening in to some of the advances that legal has been making. And yes, just trying to listen and contribute if I find something interesting.
I was one of the points that came to my mind was from yesterday's spotlight, the guys that were presenting Safe Finance, I think it was the name. And I was envisioning some of us or some of the groups using that tool that's another point that we might need to, write down some document, because some people is going to have the keys to the money, and
Yes.
although it's a great tool, because it adds an extra layer of security if someone and just one individual wants to cheat or do something that he's not supposed to. But again, writing down something on specifically those third-party tools that deal with money should be something that we should take care of.
Yes, and I mean, from the common pool, assuming we have like a separate DAO and we decide to administer these funds either with Gnosis or with any other kind of service.
Mhm.
So I mean, I've never really done this. Probably all of you guys have been like through much more specific process. Um, so how this works is that once you request the funding, like those funds go directly to this multi-sig, right?
If it's a multi-sig, they go to the multi-sig. If it's a DAO, it goes to the account that controls the DAO, the treasury of the DAO, whatever tool you're using. But at the end of the day, once you request the funds and they are approved through conviction voting, they are sent or transferred to the account that is the one that manages the treasury of the working group, if it's a working group in this case. But then it's just a working group dealing with that. Okay, and it's up to them. The legal task is to try to think on those things that could happen, so they never happen. And in the event they happen, we have a roadmap to deal with that. But the best that can happen is that we never have to use that roadmap. And just to give you a little, a little example. When my kid was younger and we took him from kindergarten to the elementary school, I was joining the parents association, which deals with some stuff, and they get a little bit of money from every family, and they do some of the fest on the school and some of the activities. And there was the treasurer guy and then someone else, and I was asking why are you guys having so many levels of security, and they said that the guys governing the previous term, one of them took, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000 or euros for treasury. So you never know. Everyone's life is everyone's life, and when someone's struggling, their head can act, doing things that he would never do on a regular situation. So it's good to have first everything written. Second, try to introduce as many security layers. And Gnosis is a great tool. That finance tool that they were presenting yesterday is also a great tool. Actually, it's mostly based on Gnosis, but with a nicer front end. But at the end of the day, we're going to be dealing with money, and
yes.
And I'm not just thinking only on someone using the money on a different way that it was supposed to be used, but also some other member, not feeling so comfortable with some of the money that some of the groups are dealing with, and situations like that. Okay.
Yes.
Once we deal with money, our mindset changes a little bit, and it's good to think on those potential situations and have as many policies written, or recommendations, not policies, recommendations written, and of course try to have a roadmap in the event that conflict arises. At the end of the day, we will have to solve conflict through Celeste and through the Gravity group. But the more, I would say, the more things are already defined and clear, the easier it's going to be to try to solve that conflict.
I also wanted to ask you that, Santi. Like there definitely is a difference between like participating in a disputable conviction voting process and just like a simple multisig, right? So like the way I see it is that disputable conviction voting is much better for like bigger communities. but like speaking about like sub DAOs, like working groups and stuff like this, like what is when would you think like there should be like a before and after kind of transformation?
Well,
You
I
know,
think
like
at certain point we have to give the right to every single group through their own DAO or sub DAO or Gnosis or multisig to own that budget, because it was given to them through voting on the main fund conviction voting system. I remember long ago when I was studying engaged with to be engaged with One Hive, that there was this conflict that happened with these guys cheating through source cred on One Hive, and I remember Luke mentioning that the budget on One Hive was exclusively a decision of the One Hive DAO, of the Poland DAO, okay? Because at the end of the day, it's them who manage that, and no one else should, put their nose into that issue. It's them, it's that swarm in that case, and we should give, if we consider that they are the guys on any swarm, communications, gravity, legal, whatever, they are the right guys to manage that budget because they are doing a good job. We should, trust them. But at certain point, I think we need to add an extra little layer of at least written it somewhere. I don't know if it's gotta be on, probably the GitBook, and make sure on top of write it, we have a roadmap on how to proceed if something happens that should never have happened. And but I don't know. We probably will need to start with a very easy document and start moving forward with the DAO and start seeing how every single swarm works and deals with their budget, and maybe from there try to think on ways to define things slightly better or different. I just don't know. It's something we have to experience and move forward. And I'm sure some of the groups will learn from the ways other groups manage their budget and their decisions. And probably at the end of the day, we'll have probably one or two different ways of proceeding instead of 5 or 6 different ones. But we have to see. But it's something I'd like to discuss on the legal working group and think about it. Just because when you deal with money, it's slightly more critical. No matter if it's a lot of money or a small amount of money, when situations like someone is taking money from the organization happen, that's a very sad situation to live. And the better we know how to deal with that, if that ever happens, the sooner we know how to deal with it, and if we have any recommendations or document written, the better, because the sooner we kill those situations and we find out, because sometimes the problem is that you end up figuring out after the amount of money it's bigger. So anyway, it's something that I'd like to go over. Okay, anything else here? If not, I think we should just close it here. I will see some of you guys later on the sprint, and we'll meet. I'll reach out with Sean and work on that covenant, and we should be able to close it probably next meeting, which is 15 days from today, and start discussing other legal stuff. Anything else from any of you guys?
For me, thank you, Santi.
Thank you all for joining.
Thanks, Santi.
Bye. See
Thanks,
you in a
Santi.
while.
thank you, Santi. Goodbye.
See you later.
Bye.